Hello guys, and welcome back to Miss Eden's dining room here. Just sitting here with Christoph's sleigh because I'm going to be using this with my math lesson today, and some of my daughter's closest friends. Okay, we've got Anna, Olaf, Snow White, Belle, Jasmine, Christoph, Ariel, and Elsa, and my dog Bogey. And they're gonna help us with our lesson today. So today we've got some new learning going on, all right? We did some of these problems a little bit in our last fraction unit, but we're just gonna add one more element to it to kind of spice it up. So here we go. So we have a group of 8 little people here, okay? So we know whenever we hear that word group, that we often like to split groups up. So whenever we split, I'm always thinking, well, that's either gonna be a fraction or division, okay? So again, right here on my board, I said that I have 8 little people, okay? I also have attached your student journal page that you are gonna be using, but you don't need it quite yet, okay? So just concentrate on the lesson here. So if I have 8 little people, okay, and I want half of my little people to be in Christoph's sleigh, okay, how many people are going to be in Christoph's sleigh? So let's think about it. So in other words, we're going to be thinking about what is half of 8. Well, I'm hoping that everybody is able to quickly say, well, half of 8 is 4. Oops, Ariel, you need to sit. Okay, so half of 8 of my little people is 4. So, whoops, Elsa fell out. So, if I put up here on my board that 4 are in the sleigh, well, how many are out of the sleigh? 4. Okay, so if I were to write a number sentence for that, I would say 1/2 of 8 equals 4. So you are all probably thinking, well, that also means, Miss Eden, that 8 divided by 2 equals 4. And you're absolutely right, because I have 2 groups of 4. So if I were to split 8 by 2, it would be 4. Or in other words, 8 halves equals 4. Okay, so I'm gonna put these guys back up here on my windowsill. Okay. And now I want you to think about, okay, how many would be in my sleigh if I were to say that 1/4 were in my sleigh? So think about that. So that would be saying, I'm gonna sort of draw a line over here. Okay, that would be saying that I have 8 little people, and I would be splitting them by 4. Okay, so that would then mean that I would have 4 groups of 2. Okay, so 1/4 of 8 would be 2, which would mean that I would have 2 little people in my sleigh. Okay, and then how many would be out? 6. Or in other words, 8/4 equals 2. Oopsie. Okay, so here's where things shake up a little bit. Okay, what if I were to say that 3/4 of my little people are going to be in this sleigh? Okay, well, if we know that 1/4 of our little people are in the sleigh, or I'm sorry, 2 people would be 1/4 of 8, okay? And we know that 4 people would be 2/4 or 1/2 of the people in the sleigh. Then how many would 3/4 be? I want you to think about that. Take a minute and think about that. Bogey, do you have any ideas? Bogey says, Mom, there would be 6 little people in the sleigh. And she's right, and I don't have enough spots for those people. But there would be 6 people in the sleigh. There would be 2 out. So 3/4 of 8 equals 6. So I want you to think about what strategy I could have used here, okay, to find 3/4 of 8. Okay, I want you to think about that. All right, and we're back, this time with Elsa's Castle, okay? And we also have 18 new little people here, okay? So I've changed things up a little bit. So I have 18 little people, okay? So if I have 18 little people, I want you to think about what is 1/2 of the little people that are going to be in Elsa's Castle, okay? So in other words, what is 1/2 of 18, okay? Well, we know that's another way of saying 18 halves. What is 18 halves? Well, I know 9 is half of 18. So 9 little people, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, maybe we better open Elsa's doors. 6, 7, 8, 9 people and reindeer and chickens are in Elsa's Castle. So now how many would be out? 9. Okay, here we go, moving on. So now we still have 18 little people, but I want to know what would 1/3 of little people be in Elsa's Castle. So what is 1/3 of 18 or 18/3? Well, I know 18 divided by 3 would be 6. So let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, my piggy fell out. 6 little people are in Elsa's Castle. Okay, let's count how many are out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 people are out. I wonder if you guys can think of what is the fraction that is out of Elsa's Castle. So if 1/3 is in, 3/3 would be 18. Then what would be the fraction that is out of Elsa's Castle? Think about it. I'm hoping you were thinking 2/3. 2/3 would be out of Elsa's Castle. Good. If that's what you thought, give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, so let's think about then what would 1/6 of 18 be? Well, if we know that this is the same as saying 18 divided by 6 or 18/6, we all know 18 divided by 6 would mean that there's 3 people in Elsa's many are out of Elsa's castle? I wonder if you can answer that question right now for me. Remember, I can't hear you, but I'm hopefully thinking that you're saying 15. Let's double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 are out of Elsa's castle. Okay, so today you are going to be looking at a student journal page 169, and it's going to have something that looks a little bit similar and a little bit different, okay? But what it's going to want to know is, if I know 1/6, okay, what would be a strategy of how I could find 5/6 of 18? Well, I'm thinking, if I know that 1/6 of 18 is 3, what could I do with that 3? That's what I want you guys to think about today. So let's think about what 5/6 of 18 would be. Well, if I know that there are 3 would be 1/6 of 18, then I know if I add 3 more, that would be 2/6. And I know if I add 3 more, that would be 3/6, or 1/2, which we said was 9. And I know that if I add 3 more, that would be 4/6. And I know if I add 3 more, that would be 5/6. So how many do I have in Elsa's castle, or trying to be in Elsa's castle? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Interesting. I'm wondering if you're able to see a pattern. And there are 3 that are out. So I'm hoping you're seeing a little bit of a pattern there. All right, welcome back, guys. So what I need for you all to have out in front of you right now is the student journal page 69 that I attached to your activity for today, okay? So as you can see, we are going to be looking at 1, 2, 3, and 4, okay? So I have 1 up here on my whiteboard, okay? So if you see on your page, you have a rule, okay? And what the rule is you are going to take the number that's in, okay? And you're gonna multiply it by 1/5, okay? Now you're probably saying, Miss Eden, we've never multiplied a whole number by a fraction. Well, actually you have. So whenever we multiply a whole number by a fraction, it's the same as saying of, okay? So whenever you see that we are going to multiply a fraction by a fraction, or a fraction by a whole number, keep that word of in your head, okay? Because it's the same as saying what is 1/5 of 15, okay? So I want you to imagine all of these numbers, 15, 20, 35, 10, okay, as my little people, okay? And they're all going to be starting out in Elsa's castle, okay? So right now I've got 15 little people, imagine, hanging out in Elsa's castle. Now, Elsa wants 1/5 of those people in her castle to leave, okay? So I want you to think about what you would do with 15. What did I do with those people? Well, I broke them into groups of 5. So if I broke 15 into groups of 5, how many people would leave? Well, that would be the same as saying that you would have 15 people that you're going to divide by 5 groups, okay? And that would equal 3, okay? So 1/5 of 15 is 3. Now, here's another way that you would be able to see this, okay? We did this back at our last fraction unit. Remember when Miss Eden drew these bar graphs, okay? And I said that whole bar graph represents 15, okay? So what would I have to break the bar graph into? Well, fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So what does each group represent? 3. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So 1/5 would be 3, okay? So now let's imagine we have 20 people in Elsa's castle, okay? And Elsa wants 1/5 of those people out of her castle, okay? So now we want to know what is 1/5 times or of 20. Okay, well if we look back here at my bar graph, or my fraction bar, whatever you want to call it, I want to know how would I split that group of 20? Well, 20 divided by 5 is 4. So 4 people would be out on the streets, not living in Elsa's castle. So 1/5 of 20 is 4, okay? So now you have 35 people hanging out in Elsa's castle. And Elsa wants 1/5 of those people out, okay? So how many people are gonna leave? Well, 1/5 of 35. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, I know would be 7, because 35 divided by 5 equals 7. 7, 14, 21, 28, 35. Okay, so now Elsa's got 10 people in her castle and she wants 1/5 to leave. I want you right now to answer this and then you're gonna check your work with me. Okay, so I'm hoping that you didn't even have to draw out your fraction bar here and you were able to know that 1/5 of 10 is the same as saying 10/5 or 10 over 5, which is the same as saying 10 divided by 5, which is 2. So Elsa would be asking 2 people to leave. Okay, so now let's go on to number 2. So number 2 is saying that the rule is that you have 15 in, and you're gonna take 15 and you're gonna divide it by 5. And whatever that number is gonna be who's out, okay? So if we think about what is 15 divided by 5, 3. Okay, again, the rule is there's 20 in, you're gonna divide it by 5. 4 are out, okay? Do these 2 on your own, pause the video, and then check with me. Okay, so hopefully 35 divided by 5 you know is 7, and 10 divided by 5 is 2. So what I noticed is all of the numbers that are out here are the same as the numbers that are out when I multiply it by 1/5. But hopefully we already knew that because we know that when we are dealing with fractions, it's often very similar to when we are dividing because we are taking a number and we are splitting it into smaller groups, okay? So we are going to move on to 3 and 4. Go. Okay, so we are going to be on problem number 3 now, and we are going to get a little bit more challenging because now it is asking us what is 15 times 3/5, okay? Or remember, what is 3/5 of 15? Whenever we see that multiplication sign, in our head we're asking what is 3/5 of 15. So remember, we have 15 little people in Elsa's castle, and she is asking 3/5 of those people to go. Get out, okay? So, you know me, I love my fraction bars, okay? They're just such a nice visual. So, I know if this whole fraction bar is equivalent to 15, and I'm breaking it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups, that's like saying 15, I'm sorry, not times 5, 15 divided by 5, right? Because we're splitting 15 into 5 groups. Well, 15 divided by 5 is 3. So that means that each of those groups are going to be equivalent to 3. Which makes sense because we said that 1/5 of 15 was 3. Okay, well let's think about it. So if 1/5 of 15 is 3, then what would 3/5 be? Well, here's 3/5. Each group is 3. 3, 6, 9. It would be 9. So 9 people would be asked to leave Elsa's castle. Okay, let's go on to 20 here. Okay, so on problem number 1, we said 1/5 of 20 is 4. Okay, so my child is crying. All right, so sorry there was a little pause there. Era woke up from her nap. She's gonna help me with the rest of these. Okay, so now we want to know what is 3/5 of 20. Okay, well, last time we know that 1/5 of 20 was 4. Okay, so again, let me break this fraction bar up. We said that each of these were equivalent to 4. Okay, so if 1/5 equals 4, then what would 3/5 of 20 be? Let's see, 3/5 of 20, or 3/5 times 20 would be 4, 8, 12. Okay, I want you to try to do 35 and 10 on your own. So pause the video, solve them on your own, and then check your answers over with me. Go. Okay, so welcome back. So hopefully you were able to solve these lickety-split. So I know 3/5 of 35. Okay, well, 1/5 of 35 we said was 7, right? So if I draw my bar graph and I break it into fifths, we said each of these were equivalent to 7, okay? So 3/5 would be 7, 14, 21. Okay? Now, I'm wondering, because we always talk about efficiency, what would be the most efficient way to solve these problems? Okay, so I'm thinking about what I could do, what strategy I could use. Well, so if we get down here to 10, we knew that 1/5 of 10 was 2, right? So 1/5 of 10 was 2. So what would 3/5 of 10 be? Well, that would then be taking that 2 and saying 2 plus 2 plus 2, or 2 times 3, which is 6. So 3/5 of 10 would equal 6. Okay? So I want you to go on to number 4. Number 4 is just asking the same thing, except it's saying 3 divided by 5. Okay? So I want you to go on to number 4. Okay, so problem 4, you might be saying, what? Times 3 divided by 5? Well, guys, what this is really saying, we know that 3 divided by 5 is the same as saying 3/5. So really what this is saying is times 3/5. So that's the same as what you did in problem 3. So all of our out answers would be the same as what you did for problem 3. Okay? Right? Same as problem 3. Okay, so today I'm going to assign you some problems that I want you to figure out. Okay? You do not need to do the rest of this page. And I'm also going to give you some IXL strands that review last week. Okay? Why? Because we just are. Okay? So, have a great day. I will be on again tomorrow. Remember, Miss Webster has Zoom session tomorrow, Tuesday, from 10 to 10:30. Okay? Can you say bye-bye? Say bye.